Hi, this is Greg in Pensacola, Florida. I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Tonight is our 16-month review of the Makergear M2. Back in November 2015, I probably had to make the most agonizing decision I've made in my life over a piece of technology, and that was the purchase of my first 3D printer. I had about a $2,000 budget, and so up at that end of the spectrum, there are some really good printers. And I read and I looked and I read and I looked, and 16 months ago I decided to buy a Makergear M2. And for 16 months I've done nothing but print on this printer at least 40 hours a week. And that is no joke. The only upgrade I wish this thing had was an overall time accumulator, so I would know how many hours this thing is actually printed in the life that I've owned it. And I do. I print at least 40 hours a week, usually up around to 60 to 70 hours. Right now, this printer, it just finished a job. I pulled it out here so I could record this video because I am lock solid for at least 100 hours of commission prints from here through the rest of the week. So the printer stays busy. And that's what you really want to do. You want a printer that you're going to turn it on, I'm going to queue up my print jobs, I'm going to print it, and I'm going to walk away. I go to work during the day, I don't worry about the printer printing. I go to sleep at night, I don't worry about how the printer's printing on there. If I happen to get up, I'll come in, stick my head in the office and take a look at it, and guess what? It's printing. I have not had to level the bed of this printer in a year. 1 year I have not touched the bed leveling on this printer. I do print on glass, I do use hairspray, I do take the glass off when I take the prints off the glass. That's just a tip that I have to give on there. You know, if you're going to use the hairspray, don't take your prints off on the glass because that may throw you out of a whack. But for 1 year, I have not had to level the bed on this printer. I have a WAN house sitting over there that every time I print, I'm having to mess around with the bed. But that's a different story. We'll talk about the Makergear. The printer is just a tank. I mean, it is so solid. It prints so well. And I got a few things down here in front of me. Some of the last stuff I printed. This is Sci-Fi Terrain from the Warlayer Kickstarter by Andrew Askadal. This is fantastic stuff. This Kickstarter just ended, and my last video on my channel before this one here is about a preview of some of this Kickstarter terrain. So this is great. It's all modular stuff. It's got great towers. It's got great big thick pieces here that, aren't going to break up and stuff like that. So for me to get that video ready, I needed to print just shy of 90 hours to get the pieces that I want on that printer within 5 days. I queued them up, went to work, came home, took the prints that were finished off, queued up another set, let it print all night into the next day, because some of the print jobs are 26, 30 hours long, on some of these bigger pieces like this down here. And it just printed, and that's I get questions on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, from people all the time. And basically, I want my printer to print. The quality speaks for itself. I mean, the printer has won on, let me bring it. He has won 2015 Enthusiast, 2016 Best Enthusiast, 2017 Best Workhorse on 3D Hubs. I believe it's 3D Hubs. Yes, it's on 3D Hubs, sorry. And I mean, the quality of the printer is tremendous. There's one revision past this one right now. It does come with just some nice upgrade features, like it's got a metal mount up here for the drive gear now, and the Z stop is down on the bottom versus the top, which makes setting your Z height, they do it with software now, really nice and really easy. A friend of mine has a Corsac Engineering. This was the first 100-hour commission that I got, and this is about 5 months ago. He's doing a Karma Spear, and I'm going to have pictures of stuff at the end because I just want to talk now for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll just run some music with just pictures of stuff that's been printed over the last year on the channel. But he hit me up he said, hey, can you print a few things for me? I said, sure. He had some natural filament. He was going to light it up with some LEDs. And he sent it to me. And those few things turned into 100 hours worth of prints. And they'll be scattered throughout the pictures in the end. But he liked the quality so much, he went and bought an M2. And now his Makergear M2 is printing nonstop. He specializes in props and things like that. And if I can get the link from him, because he talks about putting the Karma Sphere together and how he did the LEDs and stuff like that, I'll link it down in the show notes. But it's a good read. But he was impressed enough with the quality that came off this, the speed at which the pieces came off, that he went and bought his own M2. I just had a question yesterday on YouTube. Somebody else is making that agonizing decision. And I'll say it here, and I'll say it now again, because I said it in the 9-month review. If I have $1,800 sitting in my pocket this summer, I am buying another M2. I have not leveled my bed in a year. I have not replaced a part on here, but a little $4 fan, because I talked about that before when I got some filament. I was changing the filament and dropped it right into the fan, so I broke a fan blade, so I changed a $5 fan. Since then, nothing has been replaced. No upgrade parts needed to be printed for the printer. The only thing I've printed for the printer is a tool holder, and that's it. This is how the printer comes out of the box, and this is how the printer is going to be on your desk. I did pay for the LCD upgrade. I would do that again, personally, because I like sticking the SD card inside of it and letting it print. I've dabbled with some 2-color printing, stopping the print and letting it start up with a new color on there. And like I said, these are prints that just came off today. These are short little 5-hour prints. This is Terrain by 1-Bit Pixel for Flames of War. There's a new version of Flames of War out. It's a tabletop World War II miniatures game, and I've featured some of his stuff before on the channel. I'm just reprinting some more of the houses. So we got some War Layer stuff here. We got some stuff by 1-Bit Pixel. You're also going to see I've got some prints coming up for the Precinct 187 Kickstarter that was done by John Steines. And this is some fantastic stuff. I didn't even know this stuff was out there till I got asked by somebody a couple towns over who didn't have a 3D printer if I would commission print the Kickstarter stuff. So I reached out to John. He sent me some of the models. So that'll be on one of the Made on Makergear episodes. And then Terrain for Print by Marcus Kroos. I think this was a little bit older Kickstarter that ended, but he saw the War Layer Kickstarter. He liked the way the stuff looked on the screen, so he asked me if I would print a few of his models and review them. So I'm going to do that too. So that, if you're somebody that makes the stuff, if you're going to do a Kickstarter and you'd like to get on this channel, you'd like your stuff printed by the Makergear, let me know. And speaking of referrals on the Makergear, they got a Refer a Friend program. If this channel has helped you in your decision to purchase this printer, let them know in the comments section that Greg on YouTube, was a contributing factor of you buying this printer. That gets you a $25 gift card. That gets me a $100 gift card. I take that $100 gift card the second they hit my email box, and I order 3 rolls of filament from Makergear, and I keep printing stuff for the channel. So that's what I do with it. You get yourself a $25 gift card, get yourself an extra fan, get yourself an extra roll of filament, or something like that. But that's a refer program. I'll put my email address down in the show notes too, and I'll keep them on the Made on Makergear videos. But I need another printer this summer. So if you're letting Rick know that you like what you see on this channel, and this is helping make your decision to buy that printer, when it comes this summer, I need a second commercial level printer, and I really, really, really want another M2. So that's just stuff for me to talk to him about getting a second printer onto this channel later on, or just full out purchasing one again on there. But hands down, I haven't leveled the bed in a year. I've put probably 50, 60 rolls of filament through this thing. I print 40 to 70 hours a week on this printer. And it just works. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, you want to hit print and you want to see your product on the print bed when it's done. You don't want to see a giant spool of filament. You don't want it to print halfway through and stop. You just want it to print. So that's what I have. 16 months with the Makergear. I haven't even, nothing has gone wrong with the printer. It just keeps printing, and that's, I know I keep harping on that, but it just keeps printing, and for me at the end of the day, I want to design and print stuff. I want to print stuff for other people, and I want to print stuff to put on the channel. So I appreciate you watching. I'm just going to run a bunch of pictures with some music on them so you can see some of the stuff that's printed on there. Oh, I just wanted to say one quick, this terrain right here, I said it in a war layer video, so if you've seen it, you know what's coming. This, on my very first video, this was the very first thing I printed on my printer. This is the Millennium Falcon, and it's designed, and it's on Thingiverse by the same guy that did this Kickstarter terrain right here. And I've got some more pictures. I got a ton of it out on my pool table right now, set up, that I'll run through the thing. But, it's funny that the very first thing I printed, and the guy 16 months later is doing a Kickstarter, and a very successful Kickstarter of his own terrain that he designed. So it's a great hobby. It's a great niche. I really appreciate you guys watching. There'll be tons more of this stuff coming. And stand by, because the 24-month review should be right around the corner. Thanks.